What is up, YouTube? This is Wi-Fi Willie, and today we are going to talk about Patrick Graham's defense and how it matched up against the Las Vegas Raiders. Now, they played just this past year in 2021, and wow, Patrick Graham was able to force 3 turnovers against the Raiders. Very impressive matchup, and the Giants ended up winning that game. So we're going to get into it. We're going to talk about his defense, how it might fit in with the current roster we have, and show you a couple plays from that game. So I hope you enjoy this video. One thing that Bill Belichick and the Patriots love to do a lot is they blitz, man. They blitz, and you don't really know where it's coming from. And when you look at this first play, how it's all lined up, you have, I believe, a safety and a linebacker right here at the top of the screen. And you also have this safety in the slot position, and that is something that you'll see a lot from Patrick Graham is safeties in the slot, safeties at linebackers. He loves safeties. And if you look at the numbers, Xavier McKinney, Logan Ryan, these people have had a great time in Patrick Graham's defense. I will tell you, they have. So check this out. It would appear that this safety is going to be in coverage. It would appear that these two characters up top are going to blitz, but that is not the case. Boom, this linebacker drops back in coverage, protecting that area that Darren Waller is trying to attack. So you got versatile outside linebackers who could rush the passer and drop into coverage. And then you see the slot corner, the safety right here. He's just going to straight fire away, and he is standing upright. And right when Derek Carr hikes the ball, boom, he is instantly blitzing. It is in less than a microsecond. He turns into a straight blitzer, and it creates havoc here. You see the running back trying to defend him, and there's pressure. Carr feels that pressure despite the fact that he still has time to throw, and he tries to hit Renfrow right here. Now, because this slot corner went ahead and blitzed, Derek Carr thinks he has Hunter Renfrow wide open. Well, guess what, Derek Carr? You don't, because Xavier McKinney right here, who I think Trayvon Merring could fill his role in this defense, he's locked in on Renfrow and knows he's covering him the whole time. And as soon as that slot corner blitzes, Derek Carr turns his attention to Hunter Renfrow, and it's a big mistake. McKinney, he's going to prioritize the underneath routes because he knows he has safety help right here. He knows he has help. So he's not going to worry about Hunter Renfrow running deep. And when Renfrow does the out route, McKinney jumps it, and it's a pick 6 right off the bat for the Giants. That was an intense play. I mean, a lot of you guys remember that play. Whoa, it was demoralizing, right? It was right after the halftime. It was the first drive of the third quarter. So we were kind of like, all right, come on, let's get back into it, Raiders. Let's get back into it. And pick 6. And I think it's those disguised blitzes that really throw quarterbacks off. And that's something I really like about Patrick Graham. Now, check this play out. So here's the thing that he always does. Patrick Graham is not afraid to just have 3 defensive linemen. And you see him roll with the 3-3-5 defense. 3 defensive linemen, 3 linebackers. And so one of those linebackers is usually a safety, too. And then you got 5 DBs. You got 2 safeties, of course, and your nickel corner along with the outside corners. So you got 3 D linemen, and this is, in the red zone within the 10-yard line. It's third down. You would think they would run the ball here, but no. I mean, you really can't because you still have 8 yards to go on third down, and they have this safety and this linebacker here who they trust. In case Carr hands it off to Drake, they trust he will be able to stop them short of 8 yards. And so they try to pass the ball here. And here's something that I think is really interesting for our D linemen. We don't really have the D linemen. Somebody like Leonard Williams, who, was successful with the Giants. And you're going to see this. You're going to see this here. Leonard Williams right up top over Andre James. Wow. Despite the fact that it's a 3-man rush, he goes and matches up against Simpson, gets an arm in there to try to put some pressure on Derek Carr. And it does. Derek Carr has to make a decision with the football, tries to get Waller, but overthrows it. And Waller isn't in a good position to even make an attempt at that catch. He could maybe jump for it, but who knows? But when you look at it here, having that many DBs, despite the fact that you're 10 yards away from the end zone, is pretty gutsy. It's pretty ballsy. And I think you have to have a lot of trust in your safety, in your linebacker, and in your defensive tackle to get that interior pressure. And I don't know. The Raiders, in my opinion, don't have At this moment, they don't have a defensive tackle like Leonard Williams. I'm just going to say that. They don't have anybody with his size who is also as productive. I will say that. So it'll be interesting to see what they choose to do in that department. Now, this is something where I'm like, okay, let's see what Trayvon Merriman can do in this defense. And I think he could do something very interesting. You're going to see Xavier McKinney here as a single high free safety. And Trayvon Merriman's already had some experience being the single high free safety. So maybe this can be something interesting for him. You're going to see Derek Carr is trying to hit Deshaun Jackson right below. He's going to pump fake. And what I don't like is Derek Carr pump fakes in the sort of in the direction of Deshaun Jackson. He's able to get this cornerback to stall and allows Deshaun Jackson to get open. But Xavier McKinney, this single high free safety, he sees it the whole way. Right when Derek Carr pump fakes, Xavier McKinney realizes that, hey, there's just two short routes over here. If he's going to go anywhere deep and I'm the single high free safety, it's going to be to Deshaun Jackson over here. And so he just goes ahead and just pursues. He pursues, he trusts his instinct, and he's right. That's the only deep receiver. And he is able to quickly get there and pick that ball off. Great play by him. And Trayvon Merriman was a single high free safety in our system under Gus Bradley. And I could see him doing that same thing and filling that same role. And it'll be exciting to see if he can be as productive as McKinney was last year with the Giants. Great play by their defense. And they won that game, man, fair and square. You guys know I call out some rigging sometimes, but no, they whooped on us that game. Now, you know, some of these numbers don't look too great in my opinion, and I think a lot of that is because the Giants' offense is so terrible. They put them in bad field position a lot of the time, and they gave up, or they didn't gain any yards, and they didn't gain any points. So every single time Patrick Graham's defense was in a compromised position, I will say that. So you got him 21st in yards in 2021, also 23rd in points. Not that good, you know, not top 15, right? 16th in third down percentage. So you're forcing some incompletions, getting some stops on third down. That's what you like to see. And his defensive overall grade was 59.4 according to PFF, and the running grade was 47.1, coverage grade 63.2. So not great overall grades, but hey, it's not all your fault. And guess what? This defense does some really interesting things. They have some really interesting formations. Don't typically see them in the nickel. They have this kind of 3-3-5 formation they like to mess with, and it's a versatile defense. They'll switch it up from week to week. Patrick Graham's defense, we're going to see more blitzing than under Gus Bradley. Gus Bradley really only blitzed 12% of the time, the lowest blitzing percentage in the NFL. Patrick Graham last year with the Giants blitzed 25% of the time, 16th in the NFL, was able to get 22 takeaways, 14th in the NFL. Think about the Raiders, man. Last year, despite the fact that Gus Bradley was able to, limit the opposing offense's yards and points in several situations, we never really got turnovers. It was very rare when you saw a Raider make an interception or force a fumble. Very rare. But with Graham, 22 takeaways in 2021 and 2020, but ranked 14th. Red zone defense percentage, 9th in the NFL, 9th best. That's great. And you're going to see, like I was saying earlier, a lot of safeties on the field. Big nickel formation, 3-3-5 nickel defense. Get some safeties out there in the box. Get some safeties out there in linebacker position and especially slot corner. So for me, it's going to be interesting to see what happens with Nate Hobbs. Is Nate Hobbs the type of slot corner that could excel in Graham's system? Or is he more of an outside corner? Or is he not really the slot? Because since they like to have some safeties in the slot there, who knows? One thing about Graham, he's talked about this. He loves man-to-man defense. A couple of those plays that we looked at earlier, what they were in man-to-man. However, he has an amoeba defense, kind of like Bill Belichick. What they like to do is they are not afraid to switch up their scheme week to week to go heavy zone. You even saw Patrick Graham in one instance in 2020 with the Giants switch from heavy man coverage to zone because he just didn't have the players. But if he can, and what he wants to do, and he's said this in multiple interviews, he wants to play man. He wants to play man coverage most of the time. We'll see if our players can do that. Do we have the linebackers who could play man coverage? Interesting to see if Divine Diablo could excel in that role. I mean, he is a former safety, transition to linebacker, so this seems very interesting for him. Denzel Perryman, people have talked smack on his coverage skills, and he's been trying to talk smack back online and on social media, and maybe he'll have an opportunity to do that this year with the Raiders. Amoeba defense, though, going to switch from week to week. Maybe it'll be a 3-4, maybe it'll be a 4-3. In this Giants game with the Raiders, I watched the game. You see a lot of 4-3 and 3-4. You see it mix up a lot. But if you just look at the season as a whole, Patrick Graham has run a 3-4 defense. Now, I know he's talked to Max Crosby, told him not to worry, right? And that's true. I think an outside linebacker, pass rusher role could serve for Max Crosby. Maybe he could get bigger and play at the defensive end position. But these D linemen that the Giants have, they're typically pretty big. They have 3 really big D linemen up there. Leonard Williams, one of them, over 300 pounds usually. And you rely on these outside linebackers to be your pass rushers. So hopefully Crosby could fit in there. And who knows, maybe we'll see Farrell get really involved. Maybe the jury's not out for him. Maybe this defense could work a little better for him. Might need to gain some weight, depending on what he's doing, or lose some weight. We'll see. We really won't know the road that this defense takes until free agency. Once we start seeing some people get signed in free agency, then we'll be able to figure out, okay, we're going to go 3-4. We're going to go 4-3, right? This is what we're going to prioritize. We'll see what happens. And okay, I know that they have the amoeba defense, and then Patrick Graham says, scheme doesn't matter, or Max Crosby, don't worry about it. Scheme doesn't matter. I'll find you a role. I'm sorry. That's just coach speak. It does matter. And whichever scheme he picks, whichever base defense he picks, he's going to make some roster decisions based off that. And we don't have many defensive tackles under contract. A majority of the defensive tackles we had last year, people like Quentin Jefferson, they're under 300 pounds. They're not the kind of D tackles that Graham goes for typically. So we'll see what happens there. I'm excited though. Let me know what you guys think in the comments. Are you guys excited about this defense? How do you think he'll match up against some of our division rivals? We got Justin Herbert there. We got Patrick Mahomes. Keep in mind, Graham held Mahomes to 20 points. He held him pretty low, and that's considered a success for a lot of defenses in the NFL. Let me know what you think in the comments, man. Is this defense going to be successful this year, or do you miss Gus Bradley? I want you guys to tell me, because whether you like it or not, Gus Bradley still had a really good ranking as far as yards per game and points per game. Now, I think a lot of that was the Raiders' offense being able to stay on the field a little longer than most offenses, than the Giants, of course. So you're going to have a good ranking there. But at the end of the day, that's still a good number to have, right? So jury's still out, and Gus Bradley was hired by the Colts, so obviously they think he'll be successful there. And only time will tell. But hey, like this video if you watched it all the way through. Subscribe to this channel to get more Raiders news, updates, and more little segments like this, man. And let me know what you guys like about this. Give me some feedback. I always like to hear what you guys think about the channel in general, because this is for Raider Nation. So peace out. My name is Wi-Fi Willie of the Raiders Rundown. I hope to see you on the next one.